Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of Team Training Tuesday, which we also like to call Applied NeoLife. And today we have the utmost pleasure of having the company of 3 doctors, and I'm terribly excited about that because we are going to wrap up the month that we've had a very exciting topic, and we've been discussing issues around fertility. On the first Tuesday of February, we had an overview, and then on the following Tuesday, which was the second Tuesday of February, we tackled female factors impacting fertility. And then last week, if you were here, you remember very well the very exhaustive and comprehensive presentation. Just like the female one, the male one was very interesting, and both of them were so well presented that I thought I would bring both gentlemen back, and they will introduce themselves. And then today, we have somebody to bring in another angle, and that is from the younger generation. Isn't that exciting? So yes, factors that impact fertility. We want to make the world healthier and happier by empowering families. My name is Dr. Esezanambasi. I'm your hostess for this particular event and on this platform. And now, just as a way of introduction, we've been referring to the importance of having good quality soil and good quality seed so that we can have good, strong families, because good foundations are important and all of us are seeking to prosper. But amazingly and miraculously, we all began right there with seed. And that's what we discussed in the last 3 weeks. And today we have this panel of doctors from left to right. I'll start from the youngest to the eldest. The doctors will introduce themselves, but I'll quickly say their names: Dr. Lawi, Dr. Kugo, and Dr. Nambasi. Now, this is actually an opportunity to ask our doctors relevant and pertinent questions, to make your comments as well, and to share your testimonies, please, ladies and gentlemen. But please note that this is not a platform for personal consultations. Please make an appointment with the doctor's permission, the relevant doctor's permission. So you'll have to find out how you can get in touch. Now, with that said, I'm going to stop the share and invite. We'll start with Dr. Lawi. Please introduce yourself, and I will ask you a question while as we get ready for the discussions.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be invited to this forum today. And by names, just like I was introduced, my name is Dr. Lawi. I come from Kenya, but I studied in Kampala, Makerere University. I have been helping so many people in matters of health. And in the many years I've been in practice, I have seen people get benefits from nutrition. Nutrition is much more powerful than what we think it is. It's one aspect of medicine that most doctors have not ventured into. And if you're that kind of a patient who has been using medication again and again and again without any response, then you should try to look at nutrition. Thank you.
Okay, there, you can hear me now. Thank you. Yes, now we can hear from Dr. Baker.
Good evening, everyone. It's really so great to be with you again today, and being this February, I'm so happy about all the presentations we've been having, and I'm so grateful that I'm still part of the discussion that is concluding this month, this February. I'm called Becca Kavugo. I'm a consultant in metamedical practice. I always say it, metamedicine is an integration of a patient's medical, nutritional, and psychosocial needs when you are managing the situation. I believe that many of you have had an experience that many doctors do not subscribe to nutrition, but I'm a consultant in that because I have worked for some good years when I am working in nutrition, especially in the reduction of maternal and child mortality and the promotion of maternal and child health. So I realized during my years of practice when I was working on such projects that nutrition contributes 80% of maternal and child death, especially children who die before the age of 5. So I'm so grateful to be part of you, and having experience in this area or this topic, I really look forward to the questions that we will have and hope I will give the answers that many will like. Thank you very much, SSA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we have our senior doctor. He happens to be somebody very, very well known to myself and very close to me. He's my partner in life and in this incredible family called NeoLife. So, Eddie, it's your turn to introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Edward Nambasi. I'm very excited to be on this forum tonight. I've been practicing medicine for quite a while now, and my interest has been in obstetrics mainly, a bit of gyne as well. So I'm at my happiest when I'm helping new life come into the world. I'm married to the hostess as she alluded to. We got 3 lovely children, plus 1 now, and 2 granddaughters whom I'm so looking forward to seeing in about 3 weeks' time. I'm also a beneficiary of the nutritional products that NeoLife has to offer. At my age now, I'm still doing what I used to do 30 years ago and with more vigor. So I can recommend the products, and I know that they do have a big impact on the field of medicine. It's just now our duty to try and get more of our colleagues to see the value of nutrition. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Dr. Mwendalawi, you know, fertility seems to be coming a major challenge even in the younger men and women. And, you know, I sometimes peep into your social media, and I've noticed that you have quite a following of relatively young men who are seeking your help. Perhaps you would like to tell everybody what lifestyle factors contribute and maybe how you advise them.
Yeah, I normally meet so many people, couples, I should say, who are looking for kids to conceive. And you know, one of the challenges most of them encounter is you go to a medical clinic, you do all the tests for the lady, you do all the necessary fertility tests for the man, and everything is fine. But that couple has maybe spent 2 years without conceiving. There are so many people, what people don't understand is that there are so many factors that contribute to someone conceiving or not conceiving. but most people don't know that. Most people just rely on what the doctor tells them. So most of us doctors, we believe in medical treatment. We give clomiphene, we give letrozole, we give a few other, maybe folic acid here and there. But most of these people, when I talk to them and I show them how to change their dietary practices and change what they eat and use some supplementation, they conceive within 2 to 5 months. I'm talking about very serious conditions, very serious infertility conditions. I'm talking about hormonal challenges. I'm talking about fibroids. I'm talking about tubal blockage, one-sided. And I've seen it in my, those are things that in normal medical practice, they look impossible. But when you apply nutrition, things change. So this is something that has even astounds me. It's beyond my comprehension. But the products of NeoLife work. I was talking to one of my downlines, and she has told me that every person that she has recommended the products to has conceived. So we have so many people who have these challenges. This is like a silent epidemic in our community, in Uganda, in East Africa, in Africa in general. There are so many people who are struggling quietly with fertility. Thank you.
Awesome. You know, you touch on a very sensitive topic, and I now know that Dr. Baker Kugo, who is extremely passionate about metabolic diseases, he's had a lot to say, and I'm sure he was nodding vigorously as you spoke. Could you please, Dr. Baker, caution men and women specifically about the importance of weight management and the challenges of being put on chronic medications for conditions that would otherwise be managed through lifestyle change? And both the other doctors, please, you can contribute to this conversation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eseza. Thank you, Lawi. I'm really so impressed about how Lawi handles the clients or the people that he's working on. But going straight to what you have requested me to focus on is weight management. When we look at our bodies or our health or our body systems, they are systems that are autonomous, and they only get to interlink with other systems for support, but they can self-sustain themselves. And one of the body systems that is autonomous is the reproductive system, because with it, God, I think, made it in that way that even if other systems are failing, it is one of the body systems that will fail last. Why? Because it was designed to reproduce, to have a new people or new to live the human race in existence. But it is the same system is normally affected by weight. The weight you have, a person's weight. For example, if you're having high cholesterol levels, it will be very much affected. And we know cholesterol is a collection of fat. And as I normally say, we have good fat and bad fat, what we normally term as bad fat. This is the fat that is derived from the carbohydrates that we take, all that are derived from what we call warm-blooded animal or warm-blooded animal fat. And we have good fat, which is cold-blooded. And if we look at the neural responses, the one which is part of the warm-blooded normally produce what we call a positive response in line to gaining weight. And the one we call a fat for cold-blooded animal that we normally term as HDL, we get it from cold-blooded and from plant. That one creates what we call a negative. Now, if you are having too much fat, that is, you are growing fat, your size is becoming fat, you are becoming excess in fat, then which means that you are going to have higher levels of bad cholesterol, which will impact on your levels of the good cholesterol. And it is the good cholesterol that is normally used to have reproductive hormones. If we are having what we call the gonad brain axis, it is normally covered, or it is normally a result of both the hormones that are derived from good cholesterol and limited bad cholesterol. So if you have too much bad cholesterol, that is where the problem will come. You do not have good cholesterol, which is going to counteract the hormones that are needed so that your fertility ratio could be balancing, so that you can also get pregnant. So, or impregnate someone. Your fertility is high enough. So now that is the problem with fat, or with weight, obesity. That is why it comes in like that. Now, and another area you told me to talk about is what, Dr. Eseza? The second one?
I would like you to caution people who perhaps have been put on chronic medications, but let me come back to you on that one. Let us hear from Dr. Edward. Dr. Eddie, I would like you to talk to people. You've had years of experience. You've seen the agony and the joy of, the agony first of infertility, and then the joy of conception and subsequent delivery. I mean, yesterday you had that joy, I know for a fact. And with your years of experience, how would you encourage the younger couples and perhaps advise them on lifestyle, especially in hindsight, because I know between you and I, we've had to change a lot of things in our lifestyle. And then perhaps also encourage older people, older women who still hope to conceive, and yet the clock has ticked on. I know it's a mouthful of a question, but give us your opinion.
Okay, weight on its own is actually something that we should never have developed. If you look at previously how man evolved, in the hunter-gatherer period, we never used to have excessive fat. People were much healthier. Now, the challenge with the fat is that not only will it disrupt your hormones, as Dr. Kugo has alluded to, but also it acts as a reservoir for all the toxins that might be entering into your system. So fat should be something that we should avoid as much as possible. And to do that is, I think the simplest is to try to reduce what you're putting in and make sure that what you're putting in is actually good quality, fiber containing, natural fruits and vegetables. And that will help you to keep your weight down. The earlier you start keeping your weight down, the better for you, because weight tends to hang around and becomes more and more difficult to get rid of as you grow older. So the younger you are, the better you are at controlling it, and the better your future health will be. Now, sadly, even when you do succeed and fall pregnant and you've got excessive weight, then you present a multitude of problems as an obese pregnant lady, because then you've got all the complications of pregnancy multiplied. So weight as much as possible. The earlier you start to deal with it, the better for you. Now, what you're alluding to about yesterday was somebody who had followed up with a bit of a challenge, not so much in falling pregnant, but having a loss before, and the joy of actually getting this baby to term and delivering was something to behold. But in terms of our nutrition, if we can go back to the basics, and that is everybody supplement, because no matter how good your diet is, we know that the modern food production has taken a lot out of the food. So that's what I would say for now.
Okay, awesome. Now, yes, all the three have spoken, and all of you, one of you, each one of you can contribute to the issue of the quick fix that our profession would love to see happen. And we have a lot of people who are on chronic medications. I'm not necessarily saying that is totally wrong. But what I want to point out, especially to the younger people, is how can we avoid that from happening? Because ultimately, medications will have side effects and might even impede conception. So who would like to tackle that first?
Okay, maybe I can go ahead. One of the things for most of the younger generation people believe that they are just fine. They are healthy. They are alive and kicking. They can do parties Monday to Sunday without anything happening to them. They can take treatment. They can take ARVs. They can take anti-TB drugs. They can take anti-hepatitis drugs, anti-diabetic drugs forever without anything happening to them. But that's not the case. These drugs have an effect on our health. Most people do not know that. And the moment it starts happening to your life, it's already too late. So it's something we need to highlight. I don't know how we can do it, but many people have no idea how much effects the medication they are taking has an impact on their health. Most doctors, actually, if you talk to doctors who deal with chemo, they will tell you the negative effects of the chemotherapy are too big. No, they're too costly for your health. But it's only in medicine that I heard about this word called the necessary evil. The necessary evil is a term coined in medicine to mean that we are giving you an evil in your body, but it's necessary because you can't live without it. So most people are okay with taking necessary evils every day. We are taking necessary evils. But if someone told you about how to overcome that, how to change your nutrition, change your lifestyle, change how you take organic supplements, go organic way, most people are not willing to. It's easier to take the necessary evil than to do a lifestyle change. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And that's one point that I often point out in my presentations, that the quick fix queue is always longer than the queue for medication, rather for lifestyle change. And that is something that we will have to change. And we can only do that through consistent and persistent education. Somebody is asking about infections without being specific. I want us to therefore look at the role of the immune system and actually strengthening the immune system, because it's something that has to be done intentionally. It doesn't just happen anymore. Dr. Kabuko, perhaps you would like to start that discussion, and Dr. Nambasi can follow on, although you have touched on it.
Thank you, Dr. Eseza. Well, when God was making the body, he made it with all the facilities that can help it to sustain itself from any external invaders. You remember the last time I think I was with you, I discussed about immunity. I talked about, I remember one time I discussed about immunity, that the body has its immunity as a defense line. So when a person finds himself or herself with recurrent infections, then it means there is a problem with the defense system. And a healthy person, a normal person, a person who is living a healthy lifestyle will not be always infected, will not have chronic infections. We will always have that defense system because we are always brought forward to these pathogens that will always tamper, will always try to fight this defense system to break it down. So infection is one of the ways that will give you an indicator that your body is weak. And by the way, by the time your body weakens in the defense system, that is the immune system, it means even other systems are also a bit sluggish because they will give information to the body that we are having this, and the body will come in. So if you are always having infections, it means that you will have a problem. And actually, infections contribute a lot to infertility, especially infections that are attributed to the reproductive system, the whole reproductive system. That's what I have to say. If you are having recurrent infections, then you know that your immune system is broken down and it is going in one way or another to effectively tamper with your fertility rate. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a fresh way of looking at it. And Dr. Nambasi, when we look back at our teaching way back in the 70s and 80s, any slight infection was dealt with by hammering with antibiotics. But now we are wiser. We know that that leads to a lot of instability in the entire gut microbiome, and that will have repercussions. And perhaps we are now seeing the levels of stress. Would you like to add to what you are observing, what you used to observe, and perhaps now with the role of antibiotics and whether they are as effective as they used to be?
Thank you very much for that. You mentioned something else before I answer that about quick fix. Unfortunately, quick fixes are just that. They try to fix something quickly and they invariably don't work because it has taken somebody a long time to get to where they are at. So to expect to deal with that in a matter of days is a bit impractical. So to get people to realize that actually you need to take ownership for your own health. I'm just reminded that in the past, you mentioned in the old days, we used to have moms who had 10, 12, 20 children. They would continue reproducing right up to 48 or something like that years of age without any assistance or any problems at all. Nowadays, as you say, because of the various factors that we've discussed in the webinars that we've done before, fertility has dropped. And people do struggle to become pregnant, and the family size also has reduced. Of course, the economic factors play a role, but also the actual fertility itself has come down. And yes, the gut microbiome plays a very important role in our immune system, and it's perhaps beginning to realize more and more how important it is. Now, if you look after it and you look after your health generally, the microbiome gut will help you to keep the immune system up to speed, and then you'll be able to avoid the extraneous infections that might come your way. I saw a question flash by about somebody who is almost at menopause. Just to say that if you've looked after your health well, there's nothing to stop you from conceiving even up to the age of 50. I've had a colleague who I think they got twins at 52. So there's hope out there. Just remember, quick fixes, the drugs that we give you in hospital have got many side effects, whereas our supplementation, instead of side effects, has got added benefits. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. I was hoping to emphasize lifestyle factors, and I'm a big one for things like, apart from the diet, exercise. For some people, that's a swear word, but yeah, exercise. And then I'm going to summarize with other lifestyle factors that we have the privilege of having in this family. I just was wondering, you've answered the question about somebody clocking menopause and whether she can conceive. I am not seeing any more questions. I think everybody's too satisfied with your discussion as a panel. Thank you very, very much. Would any of you want to add anything more, or can I wrap it up?
Yes, I think I can add something, especially regarding the quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
What we have, you see, our body is totally organic, but what we use in a hospital, we use synthetic. And synthetic molecules have in no way any contribution of sustaining life. Actually, they use the harsh way to make sure that they can counteract the harsh environment that has come into your body. So the more you use the quick fix, it's like you're making your body redundant. You're not making your body strong enough to make sure that it fixes its own environment. And the body itself will have a means of eliminating whatever we call the quick fix. That's why we give dosages for specific time periods. We know after 8 hours, this drug must be going out. That's why we need to put in another drug, because it is synthetic. So basically what I wanted to bring out is reliance to drugs will weaken our immune system. Reliance to drugs will make our fertility rate low. Why? Because the body will not respond by itself, hence maintaining the status that it needs to make sure that we can have good fertility, so make sure that we can have at least healthy bodies which can fight against all other odds that will come to disrupt the homeostasis, all the system, the environment that the system needs to operate when it is with nature. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that actually also goes for the things like hormone replacement. And we in this family are privileged to have absolutely natural, foundational products. So, Dr. Lawi, Dr. Nambasi, would you like to add anything before we wrap up?
Okay, before Dr. Nambasi steps in, I just want to mention something. Most of the young people think that conventional medicine is the ultimate solution to their problem, but that's not the case. If you look at the people in the Western world, they are trying to look for natural solutions. We people in rural Africa, we are trying to look for conventional medicine. So we are just conflicting each other. So we have lots of ways to improve our fertility levels in Africa here. And if you add supplementation, especially not just any supplementation, but something that is organic, something that is based in nature and that does not have any side effects after you have used it, then you're on the right track. Don't wait until the problem reaches to your neck. Start using ordinary supplementation, good supplementation right now before things get up here on your neck. So I want to encourage anyone who is listening today and you have heard about the NeoLife products, start using them. Don't wait until you become impotent. Don't wait until you have erectile dysfunction, don't wait until you have insulin resistance. Don't wait until you have diabetes. Start using the products now. Start changing your lifestyle. Start exercising. Start working out. Start using the right diet. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. If there are no other additions, I don't know, Dr. Nambasi, I think you wanted to have the last word, which we will gladly welcome before I wrap up.
No, thank you very much. I think it's crucial that we remember, like any other challenge that a person may get, we handle it holistically, and that is the whole person, including things like your psychological, your physical health, and including your social well-being as well. So it's important that when we're dealing with the subject of infertility, to remember that all those things that I've just mentioned come together in the one person. So they must also be looked at. And I'm glad you're such a strong proponent of exercise and apart from the diet, etc. And then also to just remember that this is a normal physiological process, getting pregnant and having a baby. Things may go wrong somewhere along the way, but it's not the end of the world. And if one goes back to basics and looks at where you can improve, there are some things within your control and others that are not within your control. The environment you can't do anything about, but what you bring in your house, what you use for cleaning, what you use to eat, and your own habits, as we say, the normal healthy habits of normal sleep, good air, good water intake, you will be able to moderate those. And then in the small instance where you need help from medical personnel, they'll be working on a good foundation if you've started your own process as a person. Medical, there's a lot we can offer these days because of the advances in technology and medical knowledge. But even with that, at the foundation is what kind of soil are we starting with? And that's where you come in with your own, looking after your own body and doing your part. So I think I'll stop there and hand back to you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I think this has been a very important topic, and the whole month has been full of poignant discussions and presentations. And I just want to say thank you very much to our three doctors. And for the guests, I think you have seen a different perspective, something totally different, something totally surprising, something inviting even, and that's what we want to do. So I'm going to summarize with our foundations. And for more information, you're going to have to speak to the person who got you onto this call if you're a guest. Well, we have products that have stood the test of time. This company started in 1958. I won't go too much into the details because of time, but the product that has revolutionized a lot of people's health is called TreeNN. And it looks like that, the color of chlorophyll. And it is responsible for nourishing us at a cellular level so that the cells can perform their very best. And it also balances, it has a good balance of lipids and sterols so that our cells can build those hormones. Now, by sustaining a steady supply of raw materials, your body knows what to do, and it will use what you give it. We have it on as a standalone product, or it can come in other products, including this one called Pro Vitality, which is a good synergy of products, carotenoid complex, omega-3, salmon oil plus, multi, and of course the 3NN. Together, they make sure that you are well protected, your immune system is working well, inflammation is taken care of, and then energy levels, and should there be anything that needs to be healed and recovered, it happens. So I think that is where every family should start. And you know, it's not a very expensive product compared to, I mean, considering what it does, one can make those sacrifices and get everybody that you love onto that product. Now, having said that, health and wealth of the family begin with the decision to choose to build a strong foundation. So there's a lot of choosing, and that's an active word, you know? When you're given two things and you're told to pick one, hopefully you'll pick the best one, okay? And that's why we are having these sessions, just to enlighten you so that you choose correctly. This is what we call our core nutrition and Pro Vitality that I've just shown you in the previous slide. You can get each of these items on their own, by the way. But what I wanted to highlight here are the amino acids. Our family has stunning, well-prepared, nutritionally complete, and all sourced from human food amino acids. Now, for those who would like to know what amino acids are, those are the building blocks of protein. And we are constructed out of protein. Our hormones are made out of protein, enzymes, and everything about us. So by providing those nutrition elements, you are doing a very good job. Then you heard Dr. Nambasi talk about the toxins that we can't do very much about. But again, you can choose the quality and the amount of toxicity you will allow into your home. We have good news for you in that the ones from this company are non-toxic and 100% biodegradable, and yet they're very, very effective. So you might be asking, but what do cleaning products have to do with anything? You know, if you look into the research that is going on today, these days, more and more people are realizing that our chronic conditions, such as failure to manage weight adequately, therefore obesity, is actually an indication of the amount of toxins we are harboring and storing in our bodies. So again, that might come as an eye-popping piece of information, but that's why we have these products. And we have an amazing laundry compound, which can I please reiterate, I've been saying it for a lot of times, I've said it many, many times, that look, if we are to maintain hormonal health, start with the controllables. Now, one big controllable is you can choose to purchase a laundry compound that will not disrupt the hormones because it does not have obesogens and does not have other hormone disrupting chemicals. Or you can stick to tradition and say, well, I can't change because this is how we've always done something. Now, when trouble comes in the future, it won't come immediately, but in the future, please don't look for whom to blame, okay? So this is sort of like a word of caution. Do your laundry safely so that our men and women and children are healthy. Then I thought I would bring out other things like stress and how it can manifest. You know, sometimes we don't think about it, but lack of energy can cause a lot of stress if you are ineffective at your job. And it might be simply because your blood sugar is not well balanced, Or it might be because your mitochondria, those are the little things that produce energy in your cells, are not being fed. You can do something about it. You really can. And I just wanted to bring these as targeted solutions over and above the core nutrition and the core cleaning that we have. Now, a lot of people will say, but how will I ever afford those things? Start a bit at a time, but remain consistent. Remain consistent, please. So we want to welcome you all to the family. And I just also want to highlight one important aspect of this family, and that's the fact that it offers you the opportunity to build your own business. I've said something very important there. That is how you can afford these products. That is exactly how you will afford to maintain your health after you have decided and you have chosen to build the strong foundations. And we want families to be healthy. So that's why we call ourselves a family in this business opportunity. And we are always inviting more people to join us. So that is how I wanted to wrap it up. For more information, there are lots and lots of presentations that take place, and there's plenty of information that you will get from the person who has invited you here, if you're a guest. And for the people who are already in the family, continue to share NeoLife. I think we are still a long way off from achieving that mission of ending the trend of chronic disease and financial stress. There's still a lot of work to do. So thank you very much for being here. And to the gentlemen, my panel, thank you very much. God bless you all. I will stop the recording first.